spiritual stuff.
Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 7. Oh, it's lucky number 7.
Oh, sovereignty.
It's also 7 is 2023.
Yeah, that's right. The year of sovereignty. Well, yeah, this better be a good
Welcome
one.
to this episode of Spiritual Stuff with your co-hosts, Reaya and
Chantsy.
Woo! We've got big energy here today, and we have decided to talk about a big topic.
Yeah, a very big topic. Actually, should we mention as well, it's the Lionsgate portal today. So that's what we do.
We're like,
do you want to mention the topic
of
what we're going to talk about?
Yeah, it's divine feminine.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the rise and fall of the divine feminine.
Yeah.
And just, you know, we were talking off air, which we realized we sometimes we shouldn't talk off air. We should just record as soon as we get on, because we end up talking the best parts and then we're like, oh gosh, we should be recording this. But, you know, we were talking about, we've got to make peace with our past, and we also have to listen and acknowledge the shadow parts of us, or the shadow side. And it's not about, the shadow is always there for growth. And the shadow, each and every one of us has a shadow. We all have things that we don't like. We all have things that we need to work through. But at the same time, we can become at a state of peace with those parts of us. And when we become peaceful with that shadow, we're more content, we're more at ease, and we're not, when we have something that's sitting in our shadow, it kind of always plays below the surface. It's always something that just kind of energetically plays out, and we're like, why are people like that with me? Why are people doing or saying this? But once you acknowledge what your shadow is, and if you've created peace, that thing's not going to trip you up anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've had friends who have gone on a healing journey and have had massive things happen in their life. We all have. You know, we all have had massive things happen in our life, and it's all to do with, you know, what we pick up from our parents, you know, what they've learned from their parents and their family lines, what we pick up from friends, etc., etc. But the moment, I mean, both friends have experienced two separate things, and the moment they do start to acknowledge it and they do start to work on themselves, the issue that they had came at them quicker, but they ended it quicker, because then they're telling the universe, hey, I know what you're doing now. And I'm not playing this game. And the universe goes, okay, cool, she's got it. Got it. Let's move on. Let's go to the next stage. And that next stage always feels a bit rocky. It's always like you're on your bicycle, just your bicycle without any
training wheels.
That's it.
Because in that moment you're discovering something new. So the new is always unfamiliar, but it's also it's not unfamiliar because it's something we know that already exists within us. We're just forgotten about it, and we've got to remember.
That's it.
That we can navigate anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that I heard recently was about victimhood. You know, like we've all had stuff happen, right? Like you just said. But we can either hold on to feeling really sorry for ourselves and hold on to whatever has happened. And we become a victim of that circumstance, which means we lose our power because we always feel like there's something not right.
Can I just say something about victimhood?
Yeah.
Do you know, Reaya, that that's a trait of a wounded divine feminine? Did you know that?
There you go. No.
That's a trait of a wounded divine feminine, no matter what we are, man or woman.
Yeah.
So stepping into that is, and that's something that we all do, we all have done. But it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve us.
No, it doesn't hold space for us to really grow if we're sitting in, why me? Why did this happen? But if we can kind of be like, I know that there's varied, how to explain it, situations, and there's depths of the situation. And I feel like we have to be mindful of that, because some people have encountered very heavy things that,
100%.
you know, it shouldn't have really, it's not like they asked it to happen.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's kind of like, we don't need to hold on to the things that have happened, because then it's like we're always carrying it around in our pocket, and we don't need to feel those emotions and those feelings on a constant, because it becomes a reminder of the things that we don't want.
This is why, I mean, it depends on what part of your healing journey you're on, Reaya. You're right. You know, everyone has different, you know, things that, and we do need to be very sensitive with this topic.
Very.
But when you do start on that healing journey, you are looking at things from that perspective, because they're all very raw, right? So you're still looking at it from, maybe you're looking at it for the first time where you hadn't had your eyes open before. But something to just, you know, if I can help someone from this podcast, and Ray, I'm sure you're the same, looking at things from a different perspective. And I know that that takes time to look at things from a different perspective, will actually eventually enable us to let go of what it is that we're holding on to. And by doing that, we'll actually see that whatever it is that the universe has, whatever situation or scenario the universe has put us in, has been for our highest good, to teach us a lesson, you know, to make us internally come back to self, you know, to make us internally stronger.
And you know, with life, there's always a positive and a negative, right? And it's up to us to understand, like, do we want to hold on to the negative? And is that holding on to the negative, is it working for us?
Are we making change by holding on to the negative?
And you know, what does it mean for us to let go of that? Because what happens is we create a story around that victimhood, and maybe we get sympathy, or people are nice to us because of something, but we actually don't need that. What we need is our internal strength. We need to know that we can release our burdens, that we can drop things that have happened to us in the past, and we can clear the emotions that are sitting around that energy, so that, like you said, we can enable a new way. And it's about seeing things from a different perspective. And when we start showing up to that new perspective becomes heightened. And we start to sit in this realm of possibilities, and we start to feel differently, and we start to think differently. And then things start to align to us, because we're seeing things from a change point of view that's leading us back home. And I feel like, you know, there's always love and compassion, and we always have to do things with that sense of love and compassion to ourselves, to our story, to our situations,
to other people.
You know, I could look back on my life and be like, oh, I regret this, I wish, but I don't. I always think those parts of me where I stumbled and I fell are part of my great uplift.
100%.
And I kind of like, I don't always look back on my past, because I've done so much work around it that I feel okay with it. And I don't want to bring it into my now reality, because it's not who I am. I look back on my past and I'm like, who was she? And when I look at her, I think she had to go through so much to understand what she was going to become.
Oh, beautiful, Reaya.
So I'm lucky, because I have infinite intelligence, I guess, that got me out of those states, or, you know, and brought me into higher ground.
And we all do, don't we? Like we all do. We all can tap into that. And actually, those dark night of the soul moments, again, like everyone's got their own scenario that they're pushing through. But they do pull us closer to ourselves. When you say that sometimes we look external when we're on the beginning of our path, and we go to our friends and we want sympathy and support, understand that like if I look back at the Chantsy 3 years ago, I don't even talk to those people anymore because I feel like a part of me was trauma bonded with those people. Again, I've got compassion for, and those people did help me along the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that had to happen. But now, I look to my own internal compass if I
this what you're about to say, go. Sorry. It's like one of those moments.
You go. But I don't seek validation externally anymore. I don't.
This is what it's about. This is exactly where I wanted you to go, because it's not about, we don't need validation from other people. We don't need acknowledgement. We need acknowledgement for ourselves. And we've kind of turned into this world where we want validation from everyone. We want everyone to like us. We want everyone to like what we're doing. But it's not about them. It's about us. And we've got to come into validating our sense of who we are.
Yeah, because that's where we get into pickles. When we don't know who we are and we sit in a lot of things that we don't like and we conform, then that's when we get frustrated and angry. But a lot of these books that I'm reading now about—
Can I just say something on that before you— sorry, because I just got like a—
no.
Because what happens when we don't know who we are, we start to look around us and look at what other people are doing, and we start comparing ourselves to what they're doing, to what we are doing, and then we start to feel all of these negative things about ourselves because we're not where someone else is. But our journey is so unique to us that we can't look at what other people are doing. No. We need to look at what we're doing and sit in alignment with what feels right.
But then that to me says I'm lost.
Yeah, but that's it. Because we're looking for the external validation. We're looking outside of ourselves because we're not actually tapped in.
No.
Because when you're tapped in, you don't need to check because you know. It's like when you find the love of your life, you don't need to ask anyone, is he the one or she the one?
Exactly.
Because you know that they're the one.
There's a deep knowing, there's a deep trust between the both of you, and you know.
There's a saying, when you say I don't know or I'm not sure, it's actually a no. Because when you know something, it's always a hell yes.
100%, girl. Yes, exactly.
Thanks to Lionsgate, keep dropping all of these beautiful words of wisdom.
It's funny that you talk about this. Yeah, 100%. And I used to be one of those people.
We all were.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But I'd get into these relationships and then I couldn't let go, but I know now. I knew back then when things weren't right, and that served me back then. Yeah. But I know now, and when you do have that moment of a thought, it's like, no, you know, girlfriend,
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you think about past relationships, for example, and the things that you really wanted to work that didn't work, and because you understand, like there's pockets of information that drop, there's like red flags that come up, but you don't listen. Because you want what you want and you get fixated on it. And when we get fixated on something, it means that it doesn't feel right.
No, and the thing is, we've got other things hanging around the corner. Like there's something better. I've been single for about like 3 years now. Yeah. And I used to hop from relationship to relationship. And now I know who I am. I am in the right place. There was something telling me just before I was single or made myself single. It was like, Chantsy, you have to come back to you because you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are.
That takes time.
Yeah.
Discovering ourselves.
3.5 years, babe.
Time. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Remember one thing, time is an illusion.
100%. But I wouldn't take it back. Yeah. Time
something that is man-made.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. But I'm not gonna read an excerpt, but I'm reading 2 books right now, and they're bloody amazing books. I've finished one by Amanda Dobra Hope called The Healing of the Masculine and Feminine, which is great. Like it's really great. You should pick up a copy on Amazon. And she basically says that in this world, and this book says it was due to the industrialization or the industrial revolution period. This is Return of the Divine Feminine, Rise of the Divine Masculine by Duann Kier. She mentions that, that basically the patriarchy and the man-made rules and regulations, or the divine masculine drive, was built from that period.
Yeah.
But Amanda Dobra Hope talks about how, within a man-made world, where men are confused as well, that's driven by greed and pride and drive, no time, no feminine energy, no nurturing. It's all about conformity. We have been kind of not restricted, but we haven't had the chance to look at ourselves. And there's been, over time, I think that there's been this discouragement of looking internally and going inside, because none of our parents went to counseling or psychology. They always had to deal with it, bear with it, and grin and move forward.
Yeah.
So.
But if you think about it, right, back in the day, like, okay, men used to go to work, right? Women used to gather together. Women used to come to people's homes and cook and sit in circles and do things and make things together and share stories. They didn't need to have counselors and psychologists and all that, because they were sharing.
Yeah.
And then we stepped into this world where women decided we need to be equal to men.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. But at the same time, we've got to keep those connections to our divine feminine, where we're sitting in spaces with women, where we're cooking together, we're creating together, we're sharing. Because that's who we are at the core of our being. And that's something we've forgotten, because we've decided we need to be so powerful and we need to be so business orientated that we can't be soft, divine, and feminine.
Yeah.
We've stepped into that masculine energy to override the male energy, that we've become masculine, and we've kind of stepped out of our divine feminine.
100%.
And I feel like we can have it all.
We can
be successful women. We can do amazing things. We can make incredible amounts of money. We can sit in spaces with other women and feel this sense of equality.
Yeah, 100%. And men can sit in those circles too and be sensitive.
Yes. And it's something that's happening. There are men's circles that are taking place because men need that now.
Walking groups, 100%. They've always needed it, but they've just been told to suck it up.
Yeah.
And push forward. An excerpt within one of these books includes an excerpt from the Bible, and not to poo-poo Catholicism or religion, but I mean the concept that within the Psalm, if you read it, it's like, what have we actually been taking in as a society, that has been created by these people, and our schooling systems, we don't, to walk through life, I think there's this misconception that we need to know everything, that's where the divine feminine comes into play. And we were talking about this off air, Reaya. Yeah. The divine feminine, because she's the intuit, she's a creative, she holds space, she receives, and she allows for her intuitions and to come through. She holds space. She leads. So she leads the charge and moves forward at a slow pace. Slow and steady wins the race. And then the divine masculine, when it's right, the divine masculine comes into play. And so that's why we need to really look at internally, if this is something that you're interested, but I really believe in it, balancing out those qualities. Give it a try month to month. Maybe I might put a little link on this post as to what the healthy divine feminine, divine masculine traits are, and take a look and really be mindful of balancing those and see how you go. I did a job last week, and it's very prevalent to me that I'm not in a rush. I'm literally a very different person to what I was.
I think that's what we need. We need to be more mindful of the things that we're doing and not on autopilot all the time, because we've been running this autopilot grid for so long that it's become mechanical, and we're not allowing the space for thoughts and feelings and energy to drop through.
But when we're in that state, we're not consciously being aware of the words that we're speaking to other people, of our actions. In a couple of scenarios, I had to point out to people, and I've got compassion for them, that there were some things that they had been doing that I was just that I was like, questionable. And that's fine, but that's usually what happens when we're in a state of just driving.
Yeah.
And not having compassion for other people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So our message for you people today is connect. Connect into who you are and do the things that feel right for you, but also slow down. Everything that's meant for you is going to find you at any rate.
Yeah.
Everything is already aligned. We just need to be, so that alignment can start to show up for us.
And although there's no quantitative research right now about this, the more I hear the same stories, the fact that Reaya and I had spoken about this in episode 6, holding space, of spiritual stuff. This is something, we are onto something, and it's been something that we've missed, so take heed and take note.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should we just quickly pull a card?
Okay, yeah. Do you want to read it? Who are you pulling from?
I'm going to do an Archangel Power Tarot.
Okay.
These guys.
I like those.
Doreen Virtue and Rayleigh Valentine.
I'm going to do Rebecca Campbell, Work Your Light.
Okay. You do you. All right. What's the message for our listeners? Okay.
I'm going to put them in the deck.
I always say, give me a good one.
Oh.
All right. It's going to be the card in one tap. Wow. King of Ariel, success, stability, accomplishment, powerful. Your plans are working out very well, professionally and financial success, using resources wisely. Look, there's pink, and it feels like self-love is needed here.
Yeah.
Bearing the fruits of our labor.
I think that's still about slowing down, the fact that it is pink.
Yeah. You go.
I've got the keepers of the earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
But we can tap into that when we slow down.
Yeah. And we know that everything is already here.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. You know it.
You know it, girl.
You know it. Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
We're wrapping this one up. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of our journey.
Yeah. We love you all. We see
and leave
you
us
listening.
Leave us comments. Give us some feedback. If there's a topic that you would like to hear about or you'd like us to talk about, just drop it in the comments, and we'll align to it when it aligns.
Yeah.
We'll align when the aligning happens.
We will align
we will align when the aligning happens. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Words of wisdom from Reaya.
Anything else you want? I'm on the hotline.
That's leaders.
Yeah, you're lucky that you heard this coming right from the source today.
You heard it here first, folks. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Namaste.
Thank you.